38 car. Don Scarborough goes from 23rd, and outside of him, the 14 of John Virgillio. 13 rows deep, the 27B of Robert Bublak Jr. He won the B main, the 27B of Bublak. He starts inside row 13. Outside of him, Adam McAuliffe with the 23. Then back in row 14, the 44 to Kenny Conroy. Starts on the inside, and outside of him, Jason Gray with the 00. Jack Speshock 08 and Chad Edwards number 24X round out your starting grid. That is your 30-car field, 100 laps here tonight. The Northeast Crate Nationals presented by DODSON Construction, a dual mayhem promotion in conjunction with Albany Saratoga Speedway, the Nationals. Ready to come to green.
The white flag coming out on the speedway here in this one, the Northeast Crate Nationals, $2,225 to win. First 75 laps under caution will be counted. 30 cars looking to become the 2014 national champion for this event. The Team Goey Albany Saratoga pace truck going to make its way into the infield. Tim Hartman Jr. and Scott Duell on the front of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. We're going to crown a national champion as they come up on turn number 3 and 4. The 2014 Northeast Crate Nationals is underway. Up into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. It will be Tim Hartman Jr. Call around, and we got a parking lot already up in turn number 2. As the 32 of Andy Durie spins going into the corner, and the 69 of Joe Orlando there as well, and that will bring yellow out on the speedway. Feature event, Tim Hartman Jr. and Scott Duell on the front row. Ricky Davis, Connor Cleveland, two of the young guns in this division, or younger guns, if I will. The ones that are still in high school. Well, actually, Connor just graduated, but either way, as they come off at turn number 3 and 4, we'll go back to green flag racing as Tim Hartman Jr. will fire. We're underway. Up into turn number 1 and 2, it will be Hartman with the race lead as they come off the corner and head down the back straightaway. They'll make their way into turn number 3 and 4 as they come off at turn number 4. It will be Hartman with the race lead as they'll put lap number 5 in the books. Scott Duell still holding on to second. Connor Cleveland in third, Ricky Davis in fourth as car goes around in turn number 4. That is the BH Racing car number 20 junior of Matt Pappa. Matt Pappa going to bring out the caution in turn number 4 now with 5 laps completed. Car up over in turn number 2. That was your winner a week ago and the runner-up in the sportsman standings here at the Speedway. The Greg's Towing and Repair, car number 173 of Cody Bleau. So as we remain under caution here, 6 laps completed. Event. The Lucier's auto body car number 22. Looking to pick up another feature event victory. Scott Duell has had bad luck all season, looking to pick up a win that he is, of course, co-promoting here tonight. We'll see how that happens as Rich Peterson with the clutch, green flag in hand, and we're going to go back to it as we go green. Green flag is out on the speedway up into turn number 1 and 2. It will be the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. Car going around. That is Ricky Davis. Yellow is out on the speedway. Once again, as we go back to caution.
About 10 laps are in. Caution number 2 over here in turn number 2. And the Don Scarborough, number 38, heading back behind the wall as well. So ready to go back to green. 14 on the board. It'll be 85 to go when they hit the line as they make their way down off of turn number 4. Tim Hartman Jr. Looking to fire down here off of corner number 4. Scott Duell trying to nose out ahead, and Hartman will pull the trigger off of corner number 4. Green is out. They make their way down here to turn number 1. Hartman on the inside, Duell on the outside. Connor Cleveland now going to work down to the inside of Scott Duell. Brian Pessolano going to head pit side down here in turn number 1. Pessolano's done for the evening as he makes the right-hand turn down into the pit area. So 16 on the board now as they make their way down here through turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Tim Hartman Jr., your leader, the 14 of Scott Duell riding in second, the 09 of Connor Cleveland in third. One car stepping out of line. That's the 1EJ of Chris Johnson. LJLombardo now going to crack the top 5 for the first time. Lombardo goes to 5th as the Orange County Fair Speedway champion, making his way up through the field. Currently rides in the top 5 spot. Chris Johnson back there in 6th spot. 7th spot would be Mike Tholin. Then our champion from Albany Saratoga, Jeremy Pitts, riding in 8th. 9th spot is Derek McGrew as they make their way down the back straightaway. 18 on the board. It'll be 19 when Tim Hartman crosses the line this time by. 19 in here in the Northeast Crate Nationals. Single file they run down here into the corner as they work their way up through the corner. Tim Hartman Jr. going to bring them around to put lap number 20 on the board this time by.
20 are in the books, 80 left remaining here in the Northeast Crate Nationals feature event as Tim Hartman Jr. starting to gain a little bit of distance from the 14X of Scott Duell as they head down the back straightaway. Best battle on the racetrack right now towards the front of the field, maybe for the number 4 spot, is LJLombardo. Last time through turn number 1 and 2. Started to take a look-see on the inside and outside of the 76 of Dave Constantino. As the Palmer Service Center, car number 76 currently still sits in 4th, and now a battle behind them for 6th. As Roland, Mike Tholin, and Chris Johnson look to work as he tries to get by him as well off of turn number 4, and now Jeremy Pitts going to find his way in the midst of the battle as well. Pitts will move to the outside lane on the 24th. Tholin, now here comes dangerous Derek McGrew as well as they head towards the front of the field. You're going to see McGrew try to go underneath Pitts as they are fighting for spot number 8 down the front straightaway now as we're almost 1/4 of the way through this feature event. Hartman starts to put a little more distance as Chad Edwards and Kenny Conroy get together down the front straightaway. Conroy will keep it going. Edwards trying to get back up on the racing surfaces. He will slow coming off at turn number 2, and he will go a lap down to race leader Tim Hartman Jr. as he slows down the back straightaway. Hartman will come off at turn number 3 and 4 as Edwards will almost come to a stop on the edge of the racing surface, and that will bring our 4th caution of this race out onto the speedway now here at lap 25 in the books. Green flag racing as there is a little arguing for spot between Ronnie Davis and John Virgillio down the back straightaway. As Hartman will fire off at turn number 3 and 4. Green flag is out on the speedway. We're back underway once again. Dave Constantino going to look to make a move around the outside of Connor Cleveland for spot number 3 as they come off at turn number 2. Car goes around. That will be Ronnie Dwyer, and he collects Matt Pappa in turn number 2, and that will bring the caution out once again, and that will be caution number 5 on the night. So yellow is out on the speedway once again, as it will be Tim Hartman Jr. still maintaining the race lead as he has led this one from lap number 1. Got him back in even rows of 2. Looks like you're going to get a white when they come to the line this time by. It'll be 31 in when they hit the line. Tim Hartman Jr. on the inside of the front row, Scott Duell on the outside. Hartman, a 3rd-generation driver. Duell, a 2nd-generation driver. Both of their fathers, former champions here at the Speedway, as the green is back out. Down to turn number 1 they go. Hartman going to lead the way down here to the south side of the raceway. Now, here comes Dave Constantino up on the outside. Constantino working his way up to 3rd spot. That'll be at the expense of Connor Cleveland. And now here comes Chris Johnson dusting off the high side of the raceway.
Close quarters racing there as Johnson gets by LJLombardo, and Lombardo going to go back to the top shelf. He'll work up off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Good racing going on back there, 5th through 7th spot as they work their way down here through the corner off of turn number 4. Lombardo on the outside, Jeremy Pitts on the inside, and Chris Johnson right in the middle. A three-way battle back there for spot number 5. Give 5th position to the 2013-2014 track champion here at the Speedway, Jeremy Pitts, as he takes 5th spot away from the Orange County Fair Speedway champion, LJLombardo. Lombardo up on the outside, got his hands full with Johnson down low. As they come down across the line, Tim Hartman Jr. starting to separate himself from the remainder of the field. Hartman, your leader. Scott Duell continues to ride second, but he has got Dave Constantino right there off his back bumper. Constantino, a second-generation driver as well, as he rides there in 3rd position. Connor Cleveland rides 4th. Then it is the 27 of Jeremy Pitts rounding out your top 5. 6th spot, LJLombardo riding back there in 7th spot. That's where we find Chris Johnson with the 1 EJ. 8th position would be the 24 of Rule and Mike Tholin. The 73 Kevin Chaffee rides in 9th spot, and now in 10th, Robert Bublak Jr. trying to make a run for that position. He will do so just outside the top 10. We find Adam McAuliffe and Derek McGrew going side to side. They work their way down here to put 39 on the board. When they come around, it'll be 40. As Tim Hartman Jr. with a half a straightaway margin separating himself from Scott Duell now comes down to put lap 40 on the board. Full straightaway advantage for the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. over the 14X of Scott Duell as Dave Constantino trying to run him down. Jeremy Pitts now in the top 5, also working on the 09 of Connor Cleveland, as he'll bring him through turn number 3 and 4 as Pitts trying to make a move on the inside lane. He'll pull up right on the back bumper of him on this battle for the number 4 spot. As the Grennan Project Services car number 27 entry continuing to work on the inside. As you can see, a lot of grip on the inside of the racetrack as rubber being laid down off of turn number 3 and 4 as the track really starting to slicken up. As they head into turn number 1 and 2, once again, Hartman continuing to pull away from the field in slower traffic, maybe hindering him a little bit here before this is all said and done, and that may be the best chance other than a caution for the 14X of Duell and the 76 of Constantino to try to catch your race leader. The 27 of Jeremy Pitts still moving to the inside lane. That time almost got caught going a little too low as they head down the max stretch once again. Now Pitts going to turn the wick up to the high side. He's going to see if there's anything on the top. Cleveland that time will get away from him a little bit. His Pitts will still be right there. He's going to try it up in turn number 1 and 2 once again. Pitts maybe trying to play a little bit of cat and mouse game with the 09, seeing if Cleveland will try to block him on the high side before maybe crossing over, as now Pitts goes back top shelf once again. Off of turn number 4 here is now 45 in the books. Jeremy Pitts trying to get by Connor Cleveland, but Cleveland doing a masterful job staying in front of him. As I mentioned before, Tim Hartman Jr. now starting to catch up the slower traffic as he will see the Grennan Project Services car number 44, Machina Kenny Conroy, right in front of him as they come off at turn number 2 and down the max straightaway. Scott Duell still holding on to the number 2 spot. He's pulled away by about 5 car lengths on the 76 of Dave Constantino. Now Jeremy Pitts going to turn the wick up on the outside once again on the 09 of Connor Cleveland as they'll come off at turn number 4. That time he gets a little bit closer here as we move closer to the halfway point in this one as Hartman has gotten by Kenny Conroy, and now we'll go to work on the 88 junior. That is Ronnie Dwyer. 48 in the books now, some slower traffic in front of your race leader, but Scott Duell a long way away from running down the 22 machine as things continuing to string out as now a whole pack of cars in front of Tim Hartman Jr. as he's going to go to work on Ronnie Dwyer on the inside off of turn number 1 and 2. He'll get by him easily, but he's got 2 cars racing right next to each other right in front of him as he will come to
the halfway point as he makes his way off of turn number 3 and 4.
Halfway sign in the air for Tim Hartman Jr. Cross flags designating 50 in, 50 remaining here in the Dodson Construction Northeast Crate Nationals. As they work their way through traffic now, your leader Tim Hartman Jr. dancing up on the high side of the raceway. Closing in on the 7J at Danny Santabarbara down here to turn number 1. Santabarbara stuck down on the inside and leave the outside open for your leader Hartman as they work their way down to turn number 3. Got to go back a full straightaway to find your second place man, the 14 of Scott Duell. Duell still holding Dave Constantino at bay. Got a few car lengths separating the two of them. Jeremy Pitts has made his way by Connor Cleveland to take over the 4th spot. Pitts rides 4th. Cleveland is 5th. Chris Johnson still 1 spot out of a top 5 run. Make that LJLombardo. Lombardo rides in 6th. Lombardo rides 6th. Johnson 7th. Then it's Bublak in 8th. 9th spot would be the 24 of Tholin. And then a side-by-side battle for 10th between Kevin Chaffee and the 26 of Derek McGrew. Tim Hartman Jr. continuing to work through lap traffic, now working up on the outside of Jack Speshock through turns 3 and 4. Speshock here off of corner number 4. Going to hear your leader navigate his way to the outside down here to turn 1. Tim Hartman continuing to set a torrid pace up on the front of this one. He'll work his way down to turn number 3 behind Speshock. Car's getting a little slower to pass now. As Dave Constantino now going to give up the 3rd spot. That'll go to Jeremy Pitts. Pitts making his way by Constantino to take over 3rd position. Back in 4th now will be the 76 car of Dave Constantino. Connor Cleveland rounds out your top 5. As we got 57 on the board, your leader Hartman working off of turn number 2. He has disposed of the Speshock machine. Now he's going to go to the high side of John Virgillio. Virgillio down low. Hartman up on the outside. Going to bring it down here to turn number 1 as he'll try and put away the 14 of Virgillio. Once he clears Virgillio, he's got some clear racetrack up ahead of him. Well, now your second place car, Scott Duell, mired in traffic as well. He's got the 27 of Jeremy Pitts closing on him, and they're in the midst of traffic racing for the runner-up position. Duell going to go to the high side and leave the inside open for Pitts. Now they race side by side down to turn 3. That's your battle for second. They go wheel to wheel. Here off of corner number 4, Duell hanging on for second as we hit lap 60.
Duell that time through turn number 1 and 2, going to use the 00 of Gray as a pick as they head down the back straightaway, as that is going to get right in the way of Pitts' line, but Pitts going to try to make a move to the outside of him, but now it will be Scott Duell holding on to that number 2 spot. Tim Hartman Jr. may be able to look over to his left for a quick second and see these two racing, which is going to help him pull away even more as they are toe-to-toe for the number 2 spot as they head down the backstretch. Dave Constantino still right there in the number 4 spot, trying to get by him, and Connor Cleveland holding on to 5th, as now Jeremy Pitts all over the back bumper of the 14X of Scott Duell. Duell to the outside, Jeremy Pitts to the inside of Dan Santabarbara. He's wasting no time. He knows he's running out here as we remain on this long green flag run here as we click off lap number 63. Pitts now still on the back bumper of the 14X of Scott Duell as they come off at turn number 2 that time. Pitts may have the momentum to get him. He'll try to slide up in front of him, and he'll take the spot away. Jeremy Pitts noses out ahead as they come off at turn number 3 and 4. He'll try to slide up in front of him, and he will have the spot out right now. Jeremy Pitts up to the number 2 spot. Scott Duell going to try to battle back, but Pitts wasting no time to pull away from the rest of the field. And now still 35 laps remaining now for the 27 of Jeremy Pitts to try to close down the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. This race is not over by any stretch of imagination as a caution could turn the tie to this entire event, as Timmy Hartman has been good, but Jeremy Pitts may be the fastest car on the racetrack here as we head towards the closing 30 laps of this event. Hartman still making his way through lap traffic as he has gotten by the 44 of Kenny Conroy, no problem once again, and now trying to go to work on Adam McAuliffe, who is way up on the top side as we run through the field. Hartman still your race leader. Pitts holding on to second. Scott Duell third. Dave Constantino fourth. Connor Cleveland sitting in fifth. LJLombardo sixth. Seventh is Chris Johnson. Eighth, Robert Bublak. Ninth, Kevin Chaffee. And the 24 of Mike Tholin rounding out your top 10. And now Hartman this time by is closing in. He was looking to put a lap down the 12th place driver, which will be the 23 of Adam McAuliffe. Hartman will head down the back straightaway into turn number 3 and 4. Still over a full straightaway on second place man Jeremy Pitts, as he will click off lap number 69 this time by. Next time it will be 70 and only 30 laps to go, and Jeremy Pitts knows he's going to have to put the pedal to the metal here as we hit the closing stages of this feature event, as Tim Hartman Jr. going to make his way off by turn number 3 and 4, as that will put lap number 70 in the books.
70 on the board for Tim Hartman Jr. He continues to set a fast pace up on the front. He's got clear racetrack up in front of him now. Jeremy Pitts yet a full straightaway back behind him. That battle for third now goes side to side. Here's Constantino down to the inside of Scott Duell. Duell up on the outside trying to keep pace with Constantino as Dave Constantino works the low side. We got a great battle going on there for third. They make their way down the back straightaway. Constantino gets by Duell to take over third spot. Back to fourth goes Duell. Fifth spot still back there in the number 5 position would be Connor Cleveland, as Cleveland rides with the 5th spot here off of turn number 4. LJLombardo and Kevin Chaffee race back there for 6th position. As your leader continues on, working his way through here, Tim Hartman Jr., no cars anywhere near him. He's going to come up on Mike Tholin here in just a moment or two. He's rolling in on the backside of the top 10 now as they make their way down here. Derek McGrew making contact with Robert Bublak Jr. down here to turn 1. They come together, they separate and continue on. Got another car off the pace, it's Chaffee. Chaffee off the pace, and he will slow down here in turn 4. That's Yellow. Yellow out on the raceway. So yellow lights coming on as Kevin Chaffee coming to a stop. That is our 6th caution of the event. Chaffee was running in the top 10 as he comes to a stop down here in turn number 4. The cautions do not count from here on in. The last 25 laps must be run under the powers of the green. When they do go back to green, they will be going green with 75 complete. And watched his nephew Danny Peckham pull into victory lane. The 77L would become Gene's focus as he worked tirelessly with his brother, as he did most of his life. It was the 2 brothers enjoying the sport of auto racing until the end. Gene passed away on May 17th, 2013. The 77L has sat idle since his passing, but not a day doesn't go by when he isn't thought of and missed by his family and friends. Lap 77 will be a $100 memorial lap for Gene Peckham, and green is out. Down to turn number 1 they go. Tim Hartman Jr. picking up where he left off. Leading in, we got cars around in turn 2. Virgillio. The reason for the caution, yellow will come out. Father, a 3-time champion here in this division at this speedway. Very involved in his racing here on a weekly basis. The setup of the 22 car still comes out of Senior's garage. And right now, looks like they have hit the setup on the number as they get ready to go back to green. Green is out, and we're back underway. Down to turn number 1 they go. Hartman on the inside, Pitts on the outside. They work their way down off of turn number 2, and Hartman will pull back out by a car length. They go to turn 3, and now Scott Duell going to send it up on the top shelf. He goes down to turn number 3, dusted off the high side of the raceway. He'll work his way around the 76 to Constantino, and Duell's on the charge up on the outside here off of turn number 2. They go side by side down the back stretch. The 76 car of Constantino trying to hold off the challenge, but Duell has got it cranked up on the outside here off of turn number 4. Lap 77 on the board. Tim Hartman Jr. pocketing a $100 bonus in memory of Gene Peckham. The leader of lap 77, Tim Hartman, grabs that $100 bill. He'll come around to lead lap 78 now. And Scott Duell may have something for Jeremy Pitts. He pulled even with him last time down the front straightaway. Duell going back upstairs. He has found a lane the 14X likes as he comes down off of turn number 4. He'll keep it wound up tight down here to turn number 1, trying to send it in on the high side. Back there in second spot is Pitts. Third is Duell. Fourth spot Constantino. And Connor Cleveland continues to round out your top 5 as Tim Hartman comes by to click off lap 80.
Hartman now with 20 laps to go in this one. Jeremy Pitts still holding on to second. Scott Duell trying to find a little bit of momentum on the top side, but it appears as though Jeremy Pitts may be a little quicker to the punch, as now the 14X going to try to push to the outside once again off of turn number 4 as they put 81 in the books. Duell will now go to the outside lane once again. He'll try to close the gap on Jeremy Pitts, but Pitts staying on the bottom as Tim Hartman continues to pull away from him as they head down the back stretch and into turn number 3 and 4. They head down the front straightaway, 82 now complete. Hartman will come off at turn number 4 now, 83 in the books as Derek McGrew now sits one spot out of a top 5 run here in this feature event. As McGrew trying to work his way in as they head down the max straightaway once again. Dave Constantino starting to pull in and try to run down the 14X of Scott Duell as they come off at turn number 4. Now with 16 laps remaining in this feature event, slower traffic may impede the progress again of the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. as it's going to be Hartman starting to run down the 44 of Kenny Conroy here with now just 15 laps remaining in this one. Hartman going to continue to lead this one as they head up into turn number 1 and 2, but the battle on the speedway may be for the number 3 spot as the 76 of Dave Constantino still trying to find some room on the inside of the 14 to Scott Duell. Duell going to be forced to switch lanes for a second as Kenny Conroy right in front of him. As they head up into turn number 1 and 2, that's going to allow Constantino to pull right on the back bumper of the 14X as they head into turn number 3 and 4. They'll come through the corner. Scott Duell still going to brush it up on the cushion. That time Constantino may have staved a little bit off. Still about 3 car lanes separating third and fourth now, but now Constantino with a little bit of momentum as they come up off of turn number 2. He's going to pull almost even with him down the back straightaway. Constantino that time got a great run here to try to get on the podium. They'll go side by side through turn number 4 as they come off the corner. Duell will still have the spot here with 12 to go. Jeremy Pitts starting to run out of time, sitting in that number 2 spot as the 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. still sits about 10 car lengths ahead of him. As they come by this time, it will be 89 on the board, 11 remaining. Constantino still working to try to take that number 3 spot away as they head up into turn number 2. But now Tim Hartman Jr. and Jeremy Pitts have pulled away. Pitts and Hartman going to run into slower traffic. 10 laps remaining as Hartman hits the line.
10 laps to go as your leader comes by. Hartman flashes by to see Rich Peterson showing 10 remaining. He will catch traffic within the next 2 laps here, and we will see traffic come into play here as they make their way down off of turn number 4. 91 on the board now as they make their way down here into turn number 1 off of turn number 2. Hartman rolling up on the backside of John Virgillio. He'll go to the outside down here to turn number 3, swing that high lane. Jeremy Pitts doing just the opposite, sticking it down low, trying to find any advantage to shave off part of that margin that separate your top 2 cars. Hartman now starting to navigate the first of the tail end of the lead lap cars. He goes to the outside of Virgillio. That allows Pitts to close ground here in turn number 4. Hartman is by Virgillio. Will go to work on Santabarbara. Santabarbara down on the inside. Ronnie, Dwyer up on the outside in front of your leader. They're side by side in front of your leader when they hit turn 3. That's going to allow Jeremy Pitts to close in on the lead automobiles. Hartman nowhere to go off turn 4 that time. Here comes Pitts down to the inside, trying to get a run on your leader off of turn number 2. They make their way down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, they continue to run side by side in front of your leaders. It's Santabarbara on the inside, Dwyer on the outside with 5 to go. This time by 5 laps to go, and now Hartman down to the inside of Dwyer. Dwyer will give way as he sees Hartman swing low. He goes to the outside now and takes that outside lane as they come off of turn number 4. Here's Jeremy Pitts trying to close ground. Tim Hartman Jr. going to clear Dan Santabarbara down here in turn 2. Jeremy Pitts trying to clear down low as he takes the low line. We've got 4 remaining. It will be 3 to go when they hit the line this time by. Here's Hartman down to the line. He leads lap number 97. He has led all 97 here in this event. The 2-time champion right there in second spot, Jeremy Pitts, trying to get to the back bumper as they make their way down to turn number 3. Pitts going to go to the high side. Hartman has changed lanes. He's gone down low. 2 to go now as they make their way down here into turn number 1. Hartman, your leader, but only by 2 car lengths as they come off of turn number 2. Right in front of your leaders, that's where we find the 44 car of Kenny Conroy. He gives plenty of room up to the inside as they work their way down off turn 4. White flag is out. The white flag is in the air. And Tim Hartman Jr. trying to bring home the Nationals title as he works down to turn 3. Here's Jeremy Pitts, one last ditch effort. Pitts going to go to the outside, try to get momentum. Checkers are out. It'll be Hartman picking up the win. Tim Hartman Jr. gets the victory. Jeremy Pitts comes home second. Third spot will go to Dave Constantino. Constantino will come home third with the 76 car. The 14 Scott Duell will finish in 4th. And rounding out your top 5 will be Connor Cleveland. Cleveland completing your top 5 here in the 100-lap Northeast Crate Nationals as Tim Hartman Jr. goes wire to wire, leads all 100 laps. The 27 of Jeremy Pitts will finish in second. Dave Constantino with the 76 will round out your top 3. We'll stop all 3 drivers down here in front. Mike Warren's going to make his way down here onto the front stretch where he'll get words with each of our top 3 drivers as they come to a stop down here in front. Tim Hartman Jr. aboard the 22, picking up his first Northeast Crate Nationals title. And along with it, all the laurels that go, the $2,225 to win. He also garnered the $100 bonus for leading lap 77 in memory of Gene Peckham, the crew chief of the 77L. The celebration will go on down here in front. Jeremy Pitts out of his automobile, the 2-time champion, as is Dave Constantino, your 3rd place finisher on the evening. Checking tires and checking a little more down there in front. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way out of the car. The last time we saw him in New York, he was in victory lane. He flew up from Florida today, and he is back in victory lane again. Your Northeast Crate National Champion, Tim Hartman Jr.
Tim, I'll tell you what. Even though you led from lap 1 to 100, there was no way those last 10 laps could have been any harder for you to get back here to victory lane.
No, absolutely not. The track definitely started going away, and there were about 15 to go. My legs started getting hot and wet, and now I can see there's power steering fluid all over the place. It started to get a little hard to handle there the last couple laps. I was just hoping that there wasn't going to be a caution.
Now talk about that last battle through lap traffic in that last 10 laps. You were threading the needle the whole way. Jeremy right there with you the whole time. It's got to feel pretty good to come out of it with the victory.
Yeah, I didn't know how close anybody was. It's so hard to gauge with these cars, and when the two guys were side by side in front of me there, I didn't really know where to go, and then I felt Jeremy coming behind me, so I knew I had to step up my game a little bit and try to get back away.
Now, this has been a long day for you, I can imagine. You know, you wake up in Melbourne, Florida this morning. A little bit colder up here, to say the least, but, hey, you're outside in victory lane. It's got to feel good.
Oh, yeah. You know, my flight was delayed. I didn't land until 5 o'clock. Getting here was a little bit tough. I'm currently battling mono, so I was losing some energy there, but just thanks to my father. He worked so hard these last 4 weeks while I've been gone to get this car ready. He really put his heart and soul into this. So my mother as well, my grandparents, our whole crew, friends and family, everybody that's standing down there right now waiting for us. Can't thank them enough.
All right, Tim, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2014 Northeast Crate National Champion, the driver of the Lucier's Auto Body, car number 22 of Tim Hartman Jr. We're going to slide over and talk to the number 27 of Jeremy Pitts, our second-place finisher tonight. I'll tell you what, Jeremy, you proved tonight why you were the champion once again, coming from about mid-pack. You got up to the number 2 spot, almost had a great shot in lap traffic, but just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, the car was good, about equal with Timmy. Timmy might have been a tick faster, but second's good.
Either way, you got to be happy with the way this entire season has turned out for you. You come one spot away from winning this race. You pick up the championship. You got the win the night of the big show. Overall, this has got to be a career year for you.
Unreal. The year's been unreal. That's all I can say.
Got to have a lot of people you'd like to thank, too.
I got to thank Granite Project Services, Ed and Sue, Next Generation Roofing, Duffy's Taxi, Jay's Auto Repair, Tommy Conroy, my dad, Smitty, Brett, Bricks, my whole crew, Bobby, everybody that helps out.
All right, Jeremy, congratulations. Jeremy Pitts, our second-place finisher. One more driver to step over and talk to, the driver of the Palmer Service Center, car number 76 of Dave Constantino. I'm kind of happy you're not wearing a mask right now. I'm not going to lie to you because you never know. But, Dave, a great battle between you and Scott Duell to come up, and you come up with the number 3 spot tonight. You guys were side-by-side for a number of laps.
Yeah, we did pretty good tonight. I kind of missed running here. We used to run here a lot. Haven't got out here too much this summer, but we had a lot of fun tonight. 100 laps is a long time. I'm ready for bed.
Now, you had to be pretty happy that coming right to the end, you saw those lap traffic where Timmy was caught behind 2 lap cars. You were right there with a shot maybe in striking distance.
Yeah, I got a little jingle earlier and I knocked the shock towers off, and the car really, I think I killed it.
Got to have some people you'd like to thank for getting in the podium here tonight as well.
Yeah, I got to thank McGrew and Alton Palmer and Carol Palmer for giving me this awesome race car to drive.
All right, Dave, congratulations. Dave Constantino, our third-place finisher tonight's Northeast Crate National feature event. That will do it from down here trackside. We will send it up to Dan Martin for one final time this season.
Well, thank you, Mike, and congratulations go down in front, Tim Hartman Jr., Jeremy Pitts, and Dave Constantino. And much like we said earlier about Kenny Martin, Dave Constantino never misses a moment to have a good time at the racetrack. That runs in the family, I got to say that. But 3 great racers down in front. The podium finish, Tim Hartman Jr., the winner. Jeremy Pitts, the runner-up. Dave Constantino finishing in third. A big event here for the sportsman, a big payday for Tim Hartman Jr. He's going to go down and celebrate down behind the grandstand area with his family, friends, and crew. And that is going to put a wrap on tonight's racing event and the 2004 season. So we congratulate the new Northeast Crate Nationals champion, Tim Hartman Jr., as he climbs back aboard the 22 car. And Jeremy Pitts and Dave Constantino, respectively, your second and third place finishers. They'll be making their way down to the pit area. You can make your way down to the pit area as well to get a good word with some of these drivers. The final time we'll see them here at the Great Race Place. Of course, racing continues on around the region. Fonda Speedway holding their big event next week, the return of the Super Dirt Car Series event, the big weekend of activities. They're racing tomorrow night as well. Big weekend up at the Devil's Bowl Speedway, as we told you, Jason St. Louis here Justin St. Louis here with us earlier, and passing along some flyers on the upcoming events, the 3 events on the dirt. Check out their website. They're racing this weekend as well. So still some racing in the area, but we are going to pull down the curtain on the 2004 campaign here at the Albany Saratoga